Hello. In our Parashat Shmini, after Nadav and Avihu died tragically, the Kohanim burn the chatat and do not eat it. Moshe gets upset at them and he says, "Why didn't you eat the chatat as you were told?" Aharon comes and says, halachically, was the correct thing to do, and it's almost a piece of Gemara that we see suddenly in the Torah. Moshe accepts Aharon's understandings, and it says, "Vayishma Moshe vayitav be'enav." What exactly happened there? Rashi says Moshe heard and understood what Aharon said, and he accepted it, and he wasn't ashamed to say, "I didn't learn this. I've never heard this before. Shkoyach." And first of all, I think this is a very important lesson that in situations personally, when we are in situations where people assume that we know things, that we can take charge of things, and suddenly we realize we don't know everything. So first of all, we're humans and we have our weaknesses. And second of all, if Moshe Rabbeinu can get up and say, "I don't know something," anyone can get up and say, "I don't know," and be able to say, "I made a mistake in my first thing that I said." And this is something for every person to learn, and I think that's very simple. The second thing, it's simple to learn it. It's not simple to do it. The second thing is Moshe Rabbeinu takes responsibility, and he is willing to say publicly, "I have made a mistake." And this is a lesson needed for many leaders, that it's not always easy to get up and say, "I have made a mistake" publicly as a leader. Leaders are there to bring their people, their followers, to a better place, and suddenly they're doing something which is wrong, or they've said something that's wrong. You need a lot of truthfulness, of honesty, to be able to stand up and say, "Yes, I take responsibility and I have made a mistake." And Moshe Rabbeinu manages to do that without even, it doesn't seem like there's even a 1 second that he is debating what should he say. But he manages to stand up and say, "Yes, I've made a mistake." And we see later on with David HaMelech, who immediately after Natan Hanavi tells him that he made a mistake with the story of Bathsheba, David immediately says, "Chatati LaHashem," the ability to take responsibility and say, "Yes, I've made a mistake, and I will try to fix it. I will try to do the best afterwards." That's something to learn from Moshe, from David, and from the different leaders in Am Yisrael. But I want to share with you something that very much surprised me learning this Rashi. And it's interesting to see the commentators on Rashi who say, this can't be what Rashi means. And there really are different versions in the Midrash that Rashi is based on. They say, what is there to be ashamed of not learning something? If you haven't learned it, you haven't learned it. What Rashi means to say is Moshe could have said, I didn't learn this. And what Moshe told Aaron was, "I learned it and I forgot." Not only was he taking responsibility, but he was also sharing his weakness. I'm a human being and I forget things. Even Moshe Rabbeinu can forget things. Just to say, I haven't learned something, that's fine. Everyone has their things that they're missing. But a weakness that you forgot, that's an even greater idea that a leader should stand up and say, "I have my weaknesses and I really made a mistake." And I think it's even more impressive to look at Gedolei Israel, who just cannot understand why someone would be embarrassed to say, "I don't know." And I think that's a great lesson for us to look up to Gedolei Israel throughout the centuries, who didn't see the fact that someone doesn't know as something to be ashamed of, but rather as an opportunity to learn more. Shabbat Shalom.